In this quick demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add a new panel to the Access Control Manager. I've already done my initial setup and configuration, gone through all my steps. My next step is to now add a panel to the system. So I'm going to simply go over to the physical access, click on Panels, click on the button that says Add New Panel. I'm going to go ahead and set mine up as my EP1502 demo panel, which is located in my demo room. I'm going to mark that installed. It defaulted to Mercury Security because that's the particular hardware that I'm using. Also my appliance, which is ACM 201. I'm going to choose my model, which is the EP1502. You'll notice in this list you have multiple options here. The SCP-2C and E series panels are legacy series controllers from Mercury that are no longer in use or sold, have been discontinued, but you may find a lot of them out there for takeovers. And then the M5 IC, which is the Mercury controller that's used to take over the Cassie Micro 5s. So I'm going to choose 1502, which is the type of panel that I have. I'm going to leave the allocated space for credentials and events, also database version as is. The default will work fine. Time zone, I'm going to leave it in America's New York because that happens to be the time zone that I am in. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. It's going to bring me to what's called a sub-panel wizard. So if I had multiple sub-panels hooked up to this, which I do have a couple, I could use the wizard to install those, or I can skip that option. And my preference is to kind of skip that option and add them manually as needed, one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and leave them all at 0 and hit save. At this point, I now need to connect to the host address for this particular panel. Now, I have already gone ahead and pre-configured my Mercury controller with an IP address of 192.168.1.19. And you're going to want to leave the reply timeouts, offline timeouts, retries, and pull delay at the default settings. The only time we're ever going to change those is if we're advised to do so by tech support. So we'll leave those at the defaults and go ahead and hit save. It's going to bring me back to the status window, and if my panel's out there and online, it'll make the connection just like it just did. So I've got green all the way across the board, and it's showing one sub panel already connected. That's the onboard sub panel that's built right onto the EP1502 itself. My next step, which I recommend you do all the time, is to make sure that you're on the latest firmware by clicking this firmware button. Scroll down till you see your EP1502, so you see this version here, and then EP1502 version 1.18.7. We have the latest release of firmware already embedded on the controller, so I don't need to do anything there. My next recommendation to you is, even if it is the most recent firmware, you may want to load it, you may not want to, it's entirely up to you, but you should always do a reset download to the panel, just to make sure that you've cleared everything out and you're starting from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that reset download to panel. Panel's going to go offline for a short period of time, and then what we should see is the panel should come back online, and we should see a message that says parameter download in progress. Once the download is complete, the message goes away. I know that we're ready to go to start adding sub-panels and sub-controllers to this main controller. That's it. It's that easy to set up a new panel in the ACM product.